And we've got to return to sanity. We need to get back. This is going to be about chapter 2, I believe. We're now in chapter 2.
We are.
Okay, good. 2. And chapter 2 is called Finding Her Way. And it begins with this quotation from St. Therese herself, who says, "Your face is my only homeland." And what the chapter seems to talk about is our relationship with the desire to be seen and the desire to be noticed by others, and how we should adopt perhaps just a healthier perspective on what that means for our life and our relationship with God, and how to remain sane even when perhaps we don't feel seen, or perhaps we don't feel appreciated. Sister, what kind of stuck out to you in this chapter?
Particularly when they talk about that if we place our identity in others, we will be let down. If we do what we are going to do for the approval of others, or for the satisfaction of knowing that others think highly of us or are praising us, or that kind of earthly praise or earthly good, that we will be let down.
Yeah, I think that one of the helpful quotations for me was here where he says, when the motive of our actions, so like the desire, the end result that we're looking for, when the motive of our actions is to gain either the recognition or the approval of others, we often, or he says, we drain ourselves emotionally. It just is, it emotionally stacks up within us, because we do have this sort of pining energy within us that desires to be seen and noticed and approved. But if we have made that sort of the apex, or the highest goal that we seek when we perform our actions, well, then it all just kind of redounds back to us. So if I don't fulfill that desire within me, well, if that's the motive of my action, then that's what I've placed value in. So if I don't get it back, all of a sudden my sense of identity, or just my sense of who I am, begins to crumble within myself.
And I think what Father is saying goes really well back to the quote that he started with, when Therese cries out to God, "Your face is my only homeland." Right. Because the other section of the book that really stood out to me was, the hidden life is about seeking where our deepest identity and the true source of our immortality can be found, in the face of God alone. Therese wanted to become like a little grain of sand, hidden from all eyes for a reason, so that Jesus alone may be able to see it. And when we take that shift from doing things and wondering what will other people think, and how will other people praise me, and are other people thinking about me, and we have that little bit of reality check that can kind of sting, that they're all probably thinking about themselves as well, that we see this invitation to the hidden life with Jesus, that his face is our only homeland, and that is where we will find the most joy and the most affirmation, and that he comes to the deepest areas where we need to feel affirmed, and he speaks the truth into our life. So as we are trying to run around finding this in the world, he is there waiting for us, so that we can become that little grain of sand that he alone sees.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is we have this maybe pining desire to be seen and noticed by others. Maybe they're not always thinking about us the way that we think they are. But there is one who we know is always looking at us.
Yeah.
And that's Jesus. Like, he's always searching for us and seeking to share his love with us. So there's, I think there's a wisdom that we're being maybe drawn to here, which is maybe drawing us towards a sane relationship with God, recognizing that in the Lord, we actually do have access to one who is constantly looking at us and seeking to speak to us what the true nature of our identity is, which allows us to have a more secure footing when we're living in relationship to a whole lot of other people in the world and interacting with them. Tethering ourselves to God and spending time with God will allow us to actually be more secure in those areas where a lot of people in the world experience insecurity. So the hidden life that is spoken about, and in the beginning, this little quotation of how Therese dons the cloak of ordinariness. So living a hidden life with the Lord, right? Experiencing, okay, what is my hidden life with Jesus? What does that look like? In prayer, and in having that interior conversation that I have with myself, all of a sudden welcoming in the person of Jesus, who promises to be attendant to me and to my thoughts and my feelings and my desires, allows there to be a pocket within myself that's hidden and is reserved for Jesus. Maybe the most enclosed space within the garden of who I am is then revealed to Christ, the one who's constantly looking at me. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again for chapter 3.